I'm John Kaiser at the Metals Investor Forum in Vancouver, May 15, 2022. I'm speaking with JC St-Amour of Vanstar Mining Resources. JC, welcome to Vancouver.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me.
One of the intriguing things about Vanstar is that it has a 20% carried interest in the Nelligan deposit, which has a 3.2 million ounce resource at about 1 gram per ton gold that has potential to become an open pit mine. Can you elaborate what carried interest means? Is it carried until they produce a feasibility study? Is it carried that they pay your share of the capex, the 20% share?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us how this particular carried interest works for Vanstar.
Yeah, so right now, IAMGOLD is currently at 75% of the project, so we're still at 25. And the way it works is they basically spend all of the money to advance the project. So all of the money that goes into the ground right now for exploration is covered by IAMGOLD. They can earn another 5%, so it'll take us ultimately to 20% by completing a feasibility study. And again, carry it all the way to production. But once they've completed the feasibility study, they will start getting into the sort of the capex. From that point on, we effectively become participatory, but they again carry us to production, and then we pay out, repay our portion of the capital out of cash flow, starting from the time that the expenditures that were spent from the time that they completed the feasibility study.
So it's your choice whether to stay at 25 or go or drop to 20?
No, it'll be their choice. So once they complete the feasibility study, we go to 20%, and then from that point on, they continue to carry us. But from that point on, we become we would pay back all the costs from that point.
Oh, but they're still on the hook for
exactly
like
so
100%, and they'll put up the money and they'll charge you some sort of interest rate, and then it's paid back from cash flow.
Yeah, I don't think there's any interest rate. It's just
really?
Paid back from cash flow.
That's very, very good.
Yeah.
Now, IAMGOLD delivered the resource estimate in I think October 2019, and that itself took a long time to deliver. In the 2 years since then, the market's become somewhat disappointed by the pace. Now, COVID's to blame for some of it, and their distraction at Côté, which is a major development project, could also be partly to blame. In your mind, assuming that such constraints weren't at play, what still remains to be done at Nelligan before there are no more excuses for not pushing it into the economic study feasibility demonstration track?
Yeah, well, I think since 2019, IAMGOLD has drilled the project considerably, and it looks like they're going to expand on the existing resource quite a bit. We're expecting later this year an update to that resource. I think there will obviously be significant additions to the gold ounces within the resource. There'll also be an upgrade to the resource from inferred to measured and indicated. Part of that will get upgraded. And then, but even with all the drilling that's been done since 2019, the deposit is still open to the west and to the east, and it's still open at depth. So even once they update this resource, there's probably more work to be done on the exploration side to continue to expand the project. But I also think, and this is my own speculation, that they'll start looking at this point at sort of the economics of the project. So we'll start maybe a PEA or some kind of economic study, at least internally. Because I think once they update this resource, they'll probably be closer to 5 million ounces. That's me speculating again, but it looks like it'll be sort of in that ballpark, approaching that at the very least. And and at that point, you're a very large project, so you should start looking at the economics for this. So, and I think they'll be doing that over the next year.
Now, Vanstar recently dropped after IAMGOLD put out news that the construction costs at Côté are substantially more than expected, and the company, to some degree, is viewed now as a distressed mid-tier gold producer that could end up being swallowed by a larger major gold producer, which could finish the job at Côté and then look at these other assets within IAMGOLD. Would such a development delay further work at Nelligan or accelerate it?
You know, I think it would actually potentially accelerate it. IAMGOLD, as we know, is you know, a little cash strapped with their construction of Côté, so they only have so much to allocate to exploration. So if there was a larger company that has more financial wherewithal, Nelligan is a project that stands on its own. I'm convinced it's going to be a mine, and it should be built and should be advanced. And so if we have you know, like I said, another company that has financial wherewithal, they will accelerate this project and advance it. So I would think that that would be helpful in that situation. I don't think it would be detrimental in any way. And even if IAMGOLD continues, you know, once they have Côté built, you know, they will be generating cash flow, and they'll be turning their attention to the next project. And this is an obvious next project for them. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Now, when a junior has a minority interest in a major project, it's frustrating for shareholders to wait for the major to move things along at its own timeline without any consideration for the needs of the junior. But you've made a stab at solving this problem by optioning the Busquet Onido project,
Odino.
project from IAMGOLD, which is about 10 kilometers from the Westwood Doyon Mill Complex, which is not operating at capacity. IAMGOLD did do drilling on the shear vein systems there, but it was shallow, and they decided that just wasn't good enough to you know, become an open pit mine to feed that mill. But my question is, you're going after the deeper potential. How is it that a property like this, so close to these other mines, could have all these decades not had anybody chase the mineralized zones deeper to see, you know, if this gets bigger and better at depth?
Yeah, I mean, the Busquet project is located in the middle of the Cadillac Break, basically, and it's a very long structure that covers hundreds of kilometers, that has produced over 100 million ounces in the last 100 years. So it's very prolific. There's lots of areas to explore here. And, you know, mines have been discovered all the way along. So why this project never got advanced in more detail, I can't speak to pre-IAMGOLD days, but I do know that IAMGOLD, when they did receive it and they started doing work on it, their main focus was to try to find near surface material to deliver to their Westwood mill, which is almost across the road. So the exploration there was focused on near surface. And so most of the drilling is within, say, a couple hundred meters of surface. And as a result of that, there's very little done below that. And so when we say we're going after the deeper material, we're actually not going that deep. We're going 250 meters, 300 meters, you know, and it's not like we're going down 1,000 meters yet. And so we, based on the work that they've done, even near surface, we can see that they've come across some pretty good grades. There were grades of, you know, 30 grams over potentially around 6 meters, say, and 3 meters in another intercept. You know, 10 grams over 16 meters. So these are they're very good intercepts, and if we can get more of that as we go deeper, obviously it's going to be that kind of material is profitable, and you can mine that easily. Just wanted to add that in this area, like along the Cadillac Break, a lot of the mines have been underground mines, and they've been, you know, a lot of the meat of the deposits were at depth. And so we expect that as we go deeper, we might actually see some better and come across some better intercepts and better grades as well. So.
Now, I understand you only have to spend several $1 million to vest for 75%, but there is a back-end right where IAMGOLD gets to go back to 50%, in other words, claw back a 25% interest by spending 4 times as much as you spent. What are the sort of dynamics that determine when IAMGOLD can do this back end?
Well, the way it works, once we've reached our 75%, IAMGOLD does have that right. And a lot of, I guess the history behind this deal is, you know, both IAMGOLD and us, if we do make a discovery here and there's material to be processed, the Westwood Mill is the ideal place to do it. It's right across, it's within a few kilometers. And IAMGOLD obviously wants to be able to do that. And, from our perspective, it makes it easy as well. So it was a win-win sort of scenario. And the back-end right is basically to account for that as well. They do want to be able to operate and use that material. So we didn't necessarily want them to be able to wait many years, let's say, to back in. So the way it works is from the point that we earn our 75%, they have to spend 4 times the amount that that we spend. So the more we spend, the more we advance it beyond that. From the time that we've advanced it, obviously, the more they have to spend to back in. So they do have a bit of a natural timeline there to exercise their back in. And I think we've limited that to within, if I remember correctly, it's within 5 years that they have to exercise their full back in as well.
Now, you may not be in a position to answer this question, but suppose IAMGOLD gets taken over by a bigger company, which is not interested in the Westwood Doyon Mill area assets, and they want to do a sort of spin-out consolidation of that area. Are there a whole bunch of properties in that area that, if they were all combined into one unit, could make a new sort of district, mining district in that particular area with Busquet, Oneida as part of it?
Well, yeah, no, it's quite possible. There are people exploring on either side of us, and there are some interesting results there. So there is a possibility of one, from a mining perspective, to have more of a deposit with our neighbors, but there are a number of operating mines in the Rouyn-Noranda Val-d'Or area that may have mill capacity as well. The infrastructure in this area is excellent. The highway effectively goes right across our property as well. So I don't think we'll have a problem finding a home for the ore on this. Whether it's Westwood or someone else in the area, there are a lot of operating projects in this area. So.
Okay, that sounds good. I've been talking with JC at the Metals Investor Forum. JC, thank you, and Vanstar Mining being part of the show.
Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation.